Here we have a B20b engine that came from a Gen 1 CRV like this. Locally, we all get it from a Gen 1 CRV, not from a Prelude. The engine arrived here as it is. We did disassembly, we put it on the engine stand. Yes, we got to inspect it. This is over 180,000 miles on the odometer. So with the head off, it turns quite good. So that is a good sign. And of course, the purpose of the video is to get the owners a bit more awareness. This way, they don't get duped by local shops into changing a lot of stuff, even changing the block because it's a high mileage. So this is for you guys. So yep, let's go. Alright, the start of this B20 is this was actually running on a 4-door locally, and my friend Nico bought this because he was planning to use it. So it was locally used. It has over 180,000 miles on the odometer. And yes, look at that, it's B20b. So now we're gonna disassemble it. Before rebuild, we're gonna inspect everything. We got the head on the block on the stand. We got all the accessories like the cam gears off, even the other stuff. Yes, now we're gonna be ready to disassemble it, and we're gonna check everything from bearings, even the piston ring gaps. Yes, okay, now with the head off here, the good thing is the engine actually turns quite freely, and the previous owner did say the compression on this is pretty good and pretty decent. It drives good. So now my colleague is disassembling all the other details. Yes, we're gonna check this and get the oil pan open. Sorry. Yep. Now it's all good here. Now we get off everything else. The rods and the pistons are gonna be removed, so we're gonna check it later on the workbench. Yes. Now let's look at this. The crank is still secure, and the journals on the rod journals are looking pretty clean. So this engine is actually well maintained. That's pretty good. Yep. All right. And here, let's turn it. Let's see how it turns as it is before we actually disassemble the crank. It turns freely. It's quite good. So this way we know the clearances are pretty good. And we have a video in the members only section for the hardcore guys. You can check it out if you got to be a member. All right. Yes. Okay, now we continue this. Let me get the socket for the main caps. It's 14. We need the extension. Wait. Oh, this hasn't been disassembled before. We get this time lapse. Okay, wait. Let me time lapse the phone, because it's gonna take too long. But I gotta ask you guys a favor. Like the video. This way it gains more activity, and the algorithm will spread it out to a wider audience, and that helps the channel tremendously. So each like that we get is really, really valuable to me. So thank you for that, alright? And of course, if you haven't, so you have to subscribe. This way, you can check out all the new stuff that we have. Next time we have a project, or after this, on the build series for this B20 Vita, you can check it out when we start the series, right? And of course, for the hardcore stuff, we got the members only section. We got lots and lots of videos there. It gets boring for the general audience, but for the hardcore enthusiasts, you can check it out. We even have extensive dyno tuning video, not just runs. We talk about the actual tuning that gains power and everything else. So yep, that one is for you. So yep, I'll see you guys. All right, here you go. Yep. We lose it one by one to get all the caps removed. And let's check the main bearings, how it is, because of course when we rebuild it for the next project, it's gonna have new bearings. But here it is. Okay, yep, no abnormal signs. It's number one cap. We take off the rest, and yes, you can see the main journals is pretty clean, no damage. Now let's look at the block side, the main bearings on the side of the block. Yep, nothing unusual, nothing abnormal. This is pretty good. Yes, this is a clean block. It's a good candidate for a good project. And we'll talk about that on the other video when we start the project. But for now, let's go to the workbench. Here's the pistons. Okay, we just crudely labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let me clip the phone here. Let me show you how it is on the rod bearings, because usually the rod bearings has more wear than the mains because it runs, faster than the journals. But let me show you here. On the side of the rod, opposite the rod cap, the wear is significantly more than the cap side. But this one, it still looks good. You can see the wear, but it's not a bad thing. Of course, this gets replaced with new bearings when we rebuild this engine. But I'm just showing you on the side of the rod, the side of the pistons, you can see that wear is more extensive than the cap side. That is because each combustion, the power pushes the pistons down with the rods and has more stress on the top side bearing there than the rod cap side. Yes, but here nothing abnormal, so when we change the new bearings, this is gonna be perfect. Now we're gonna remove the top ring on each and put it on the block, and we're gonna check the ring gaps of the currently ultra high mileage motor. Here we are on the stand now. Let me remove the top ring on piston number 1. Here it is. And then we put it back on the bore to check the ring gap. We use the same pistons on the respective bore to push it down a level. All right, there you go. Now number 2 is next. Yes, we press it down there. Make this the piston number 2 respectively. All right, now we get the other ones. Number 3. This project is actually going to run a different piston, so this is okay. But we're still going to show you just because this is basically disassembling the B20 VTEC, not the B20 block, not really turning into another project. Here's number 4, the last one. Okay, now there. Now we got to get the filler gauge to check the ring gap. And as it looks like it's between 14 to 15. Let me try 15. Okay, it catches it, but it's still kind of loose. It's 0.015 of an inch on the top ring, so that's actually quite perfect. It's like within the OEM bounds. So, wait, let me show you. Oh, can't see it. It's glaring, sorry. It's 0.015. So, if you run a new set of piston rings, that might be 0.014, which is pretty good. And this gives us room to actually have it honed and I'll still go back to 0.015, so that's nearly perfect, right? Okay, let me show you close. Oh yeah. And that's the good thing with having it honed, because the machine shop will double check it. If it's too oval, they'll tell you that you can see the block has no breather. So we always put a new breather on the back of the block, because all the VTEC blocks have breathers. The B20, even if it's not VTEC, we actually put it so that, it gets more efficient and there's less chance of blow by. And this block is going to get cleaned as we get to start assembling it on the next project. But looks like this block will just need the new set of bearings, piston rings, have it honed, decked on the block and the head. It's going to be like brand new. So when you get to have your CRV or B20b rebuilt, this is all you need. This is already 180,000 plus miles. So hopefully this is good for CRV owners or B20 owners, even regular Honda engines. That even if it's 180,000 plus miles, if its running condition is pretty decent, when you have it rebuilt by other shops, you know what isn't reasonable and what is reasonable to change or do. You don't always have to change your block. That's a lot of money, So, of course, when we start the other project, we'll be on the end screen later. But for now, you can just click here